The more you reveal your pain, the more people may want to hurt you. While this doesn't always happen, it's common for some people to take pleasure in seeing you suffer, or even contribute to it or make it worse. This sadistic and envious behavior is unfortunately present in many and can genuinely hinder your personal growth in various areas of life, be it at work, in a circle of friends, or even in the family. Therefore, learning not to show your weakness can end up becoming your strength. Imagine yourself as a tree in the midst of a storm. The leaves may tremble and the branches may sway, but the trunk remains solid, deeply rooted in the earth. This is the picture of the silent resilience that we will teach here. We will talk about how you can be even stronger by showing that you are not easily affected by external or internal issues, where each challenge teaches you to be like the tree, acting as if nothing bothers you. You are not denying the storm, but choosing not to let the rain soak you and the wind knock you down. You will be learning to be the master of your own destiny, firm, strong, and serene in a sea of chaos. In this video, we will discuss 17 Stoic principles from Epictetus, a great and renowned philosopher you have probably heard of. Before we begin, I would like to thank you for clicking on this video. This was the first step on your journey to improve your life through Stoicism. If you are new here, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Statistics show that only 3% of my audience is subscribed to my channel, so if this content has helped you in any way, I ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. So, in the next few minutes, focus on the content and not on daily distractions. Let's go. Principle 1. Listen twice as much as you speak. Have you ever wondered why nature gave us 2 ears but only 1 mouth? According to Epictetus, this is not a mistake or coincidence, but a clear purpose, so that we don't fall in love with our own voice as much as we should fall in love with the voices of others. It is through learning from others that we progress in life, instead of endlessly repeating what we already know. Therefore, from today, start paying more attention to what people around you say and less to what you have been advocating so far. This principle reminds us of the importance of active listening and learning from others. Often we get so caught up in our own opinions and ideas that we miss the opportunity to enrich our knowledge through the perspectives and experiences of other people. By listening more than speaking, we open up space to understand different viewpoints, acquire new knowledge, and strengthen our interpersonal relationships. This practice helps us grow personally and intellectually, making us wiser and more connected to the world around us. Principle 2. Always be prepared for the worst. One of the main causes of anxiety and its devastating effects is the expectation of unfavorable circumstances in the future. We fear that our children drop out of school, that we get fired from work, that our spouse reveals an affair and asks for a divorce, or that some other negative event occurs, like bankruptcy. The problem is that one day we fear one of these situations, and the next day we fear another, and so on. Life's journey, in addition to containing good and happy moments, also reserves inevitable challenges. As a result, we constantly live under stress, caused by different worries each day. It is at this point that Epictetus's philosophy becomes relevant, being both drastic and effective. He encourages us to think that all the things we fear so much have already happened. What could be worse? This perspective helps our spirit develop coping strategies to move forward with determination. This principle teaches us to adopt a mindset of preparing to face life's challenges. Instead of constantly living in the shadow of the fear of the unknown, we are invited to consider the worst-case scenario as a possibility and think about how we would deal with it. This approach allows us to develop resilience and coping strategies, reducing the anxiety caused by the uncertainty of the future. Ultimately, by facing our fears head-on, we become more capable of dealing with adversities when they arise and moving forward with confidence and determination. Principle 3. Be prepared to fail, as it is the only way to progress. Often we do everything to avoid being seen as fools, but Epictetus offers a different perspective. According to his philosophy, one of the best things that can happen is to be considered a fool. This represents the real path to personal and professional growth. The Stoic philosopher reminds us that overcoming doesn't come from an instant reaction, but is the result of a long process of trial and error. For it is through error that we can perfect what separates us from excellence. This principle encourages us to embrace failure as part of the process of learning and growth. Instead of fearing to look foolish, we should understand that making mistakes is inevitable and, in fact, an essential part of progress. It is through challenges and difficulties that we develop resilience, gain experience, and refine our skills. By accepting that failure is an opportunity to improve, we become more open to taking risks and facing challenges. This mindset helps us pursue our goals with determination and evolve constantly. Principle 4. Be aware of the dangers of fortune. The wealth we so desire carries a stigma from which few can escape. It's not just about people suddenly appearing, pretending to be our friends, to benefit from our fortune. Money has the power to transform people, not always for the better. When we become owners of this coveted resource, we find that we have something we didn't have before, and it is at this moment that our moral integrity can be corroded by greed. This principle warns us about the dangers associated with the relentless pursuit of wealth and the accumulation of material resources. It emphasizes that beyond the obvious traps, such as people who may approach us only for financial interest, wealth itself has the potential to change our perspective and values. Money, when mismanaged, can corrupt our ethical principles and distance us from what truly matters in life. Therefore, we are encouraged to seek a healthy balance between the pursuit of financial prosperity and the preservation of our moral and ethical values. Principle 5. Avoid fixating on a single hope. Our human nature tends toward variety, which means there is no need to focus all our hopes on a single goal. Putting all your chips on a single dream can be risky and potentially devastating if it doesn't materialize. Therefore, Epictetus advises us to seek multiple dreams and aspirations. By diversifying our goals, we not only mitigate the risk of disappointment, but also multiply the possibilities of finding satisfaction and success. This teaching from Epictetus reminds us of the importance of having a balanced approach to our dreams and aspirations. By not clinging rigidly to a single hope or goal, we open up space to explore various possibilities and paths. This not only increases the chances of success on multiple fronts, but also helps maintain a more balanced emotional state, since failure in one goal will not mean the collapse of all our aspirations. This principle encourages us to be flexible, open to new opportunities, and resilient in the face of adversity. Principle 6. Always keep in mind that death is the inevitable ultimate destination. This thought is not an invitation to pessimism, but a reminder to recognize that death is the end point of all our actions and efforts. With this awareness, we begin to question the real value of spending precious years saving for material goods like a house, which, while valuable, will not accompany us after death. Just as we carry essential everyday items like a phone, cards, and a toothbrush, it would be beneficial to keep a small notebook with Stoic principles with us. With them, we begin to view setbacks not as calamities, but as integral parts of life. We no longer see existence as an infinitely available time, but gain a more realistic perception of our existence, leading us to use our time more effectively and meaningfully. This Stoic principle invites us to reflect on the impermanence of life and use this awareness as a guide to live more intentionally and meaningfully. By remembering that death is a common destiny for all, we are encouraged to evaluate what truly matters and dedicate our time and energy to actions and relationships that enrich our lives. This helps us live in the present with greater fullness and make choices that reflect our deepest values rather than getting lost in superficial or material concerns. Principle 7. True wealth lies in a contented spirit. Through his Stoic philosophy, Epictetus offers us a unique view of happiness, expressed in one of his famous quotes. "A wise man is one who does not grieve for what he does not have, but rejoices in what he has." This reflection goes beyond a mere thought. It is a guide to learning to cease our restlessness for wealth we do not yet possess. This teaching from Epictetus reminds us of the importance of having a balanced approach to our dreams and aspirations. By not clinging rigidly to a single hope or goal, we open up space to explore various possibilities and paths. This not only increases the chances of success on multiple fronts, but also helps maintain a more balanced emotional state, since failure in one goal will not mean the collapse of all our aspirations. This principle encourages us to be flexible, open to new opportunities, and resilient in the face of adversity. If you've made it this far, you're already part of an exclusive group that is truly seeking evolution. So, comment today's date, followed by Seeking Wisdom. Let's continue. Principle 6. Always keep in mind that death is the inevitable ultimate destination. This thought is not an invitation to pessimism, but a reminder to recognize that death is the end point of all our actions and efforts. With this awareness, we begin to question the real value of spending precious years saving for material goods like a house, which, while valuable, will not accompany us after death. Just as we carry essential everyday items like a phone, cards, and a toothbrush, it would be beneficial to keep a small notebook with Stoic principles with us. With them, we begin to view setbacks not as calamities, but as integral parts of life. We no longer see existence as an infinitely available time, but gain a more realistic perception of our existence, leading us to use our time more effectively and meaningfully. This Stoic principle invites us to reflect on the impermanence of life and use this awareness as a guide to live more intentionally and meaningfully. By remembering that death is a common destiny for all, we are encouraged to evaluate what truly matters and dedicate our time and energy to actions and relationships that enrich our lives. This helps us live in the present with greater fullness and make choices that reflect our deepest values rather than getting lost in superficial or material concerns. Principle 7. True wealth lies in a contented spirit. Through his Stoic philosophy, Epictetus offers us a unique view of happiness, expressed in one of his famous quotes. "A wise man is one who does not grieve for what he does not have, but rejoices in what he has." This reflection goes beyond a mere thought. It is a guide to learning to cease our restlessness for wealth we do not yet possess. While we indulge in complaints and lamentations for what we lack, we waste precious moments of joy that could be spent in gratitude for what we have achieved so far, which is often more than we are conditioned to value. Therefore, a truly rich person is one who finds themselves in a state of genuine happiness. This principle teaches us to redefine our conception of wealth. Instead of associating it with material possessions and external achievements, Epictetus encourages us to find it in satisfaction and gratitude for the things we already have. This perspective helps us cultivate a sense of contentment and appreciation for the present, regardless of external circumstances. By adopting this mindset, we not only find inner peace, but also develop a more positive and grateful attitude toward life. Principle 8. Abandon the incessant desire for more. Modern society often pushes us toward a mindset of constant seeking for more wealth, more success, more experiences. However, Epictetus reminds us of simplicity as a virtue. He encourages us to abandon the incessant desire to accumulate more, recognizing that true happiness is not in the quantity of material possessions, but in the appreciation of what we already have. By adopting a simpler and detached approach, we find a freedom that goes beyond the endless pursuit of more, allowing us to fully enjoy the present. This principle invites us to reassess our priorities and question the incessant pursuit of more material things. By abandoning the constant desire to accumulate wealth and recognizing the beauty of simplicity, we can find greater satisfaction and contentment in life. The emphasis is placed on valuing what we already have, rather than constantly seeking the next object of desire. This approach liberates us from the frantic race for more, providing a sense of lightness and gratitude. Principle 9. Develop resilience to criticism. The world is full of diverse opinions, and we won't always be praised or understood. Epictetus teaches us to develop resilience in the face of criticism, recognizing that true strength lies in the ability to remain unshaken by negative judgments. Instead of allowing criticism to deeply affect us, we should learn to separate our self-esteem from others' opinions. By doing so, we cultivate resilience that allows us to continue our path, regardless of others' negative words. This principle highlights the importance of developing resilience in the face of criticism, a crucial aspect for maintaining emotional stability and self-confidence. In a world full of diverse opinions, facing criticism and judgments is inevitable. Epictetus's wisdom encourages us not to be shaken by these criticisms, but to cultivate an inner strength that allows us to stay true to ourselves, regardless of external opinions. This resilience promotes greater emotional stability and helps maintain focus on our goals, even in the face of adversity. Principle 10. Learn to distinguish between what you can and cannot control. Much of human suffering comes from attempting to control external events or others' actions. Epictetus reminds us of the importance of distinguishing between what is under our control and what is not. By focusing our energy on what we can influence and serenely accepting what we cannot, we find an inner peace that transcends external circumstances. This principle guides us to adopt a wiser approach to control and acceptance. By recognizing the distinction between what we can control and what is beyond our control, we gain a more balanced perspective on life. Concentrating our efforts on what we can influence promotes a sense of efficacy and empowerment, while serenely accepting what we cannot control frees us from the burden of unnecessary stress. This stoic mindset empowers us to face challenges with more calmness and resilience. Principle 11. Practice empathy and compassion. The ability to understand and feel empathy for others is an essential quality for harmonious coexistence. Epictetus reminds us of the importance of practicing empathy and compassion, recognizing that everyone faces their own battles and challenges. By adopting a stance of understanding and kindness toward others, we build healthier relationships and contribute to a more compassionate world. This principle emphasizes the importance of empathy and compassion in how we interact with others. Epictetus encourages us to recognize shared humanity and understand that each person faces their own struggles. By practicing empathy, we develop more meaningful relationships and contribute to a more compassionate environment. This approach brings us closer to others, promoting mutual understanding and the building of more supportive communities. Principle 12. Cultivate daily gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful tool for transforming our perspective and promoting emotional well-being. Epictetus invites us to cultivate daily gratitude, recognizing the simple blessings of life. By directing our attention to what we have, rather than what we lack, we develop a positive mindset and a deeper appreciation for existence. This principle highlights the importance of gratitude as a tool for promoting emotional well-being. Cultivating daily gratitude involves recognizing the small blessings of life and focusing our attention on what we have. This practice not only transforms our perspective, but also contributes to a more positive mindset and a deeper appreciation for life. By adopting an attitude of gratitude, we find contentment in simple things and build a solid foundation for lasting happiness. As you explore these Stoic principles from Epictetus, you delve into a philosophy that offers practical and timeless wisdom. Each principle serves as a guide for dealing with life's challenges, cultivating virtues, and achieving a fuller and more meaningful existence. By applying these teachings to your daily life, you can find greater serenity, resilience, and purpose. The journey toward personal mastery and spiritual flourishing is a continuous pursuit, and Stoicism, with its practical and value-centered approach, remains a valuable source of guidance. If you've made it this far, you are committed to the pursuit of knowledge and personal growth. Continue your journey, apply these principles in your life, and discover the transformative power of Stoic philosophy. You have now reached the halfway mark of the video. I congratulate you for trying to become a better version of yourself, and I also humbly ask you to leave a comment, as it helps my channel immensely. If you do not know what to comment, just write mind over body, so I know you reached this far. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Now back to the video. Principle 13. Embrace simplicity, emerging as a beacon of wisdom, illuminating the path to a more balanced and authentic way of life. The choice for simplicity is not a renunciation of comfort or quality of life, but a realignment of our priorities. When we engage in the race for the accumulation of material goods, we often lose ourselves in an endless cycle of wealth maintenance, demanding not only financial resources, but also significant emotional and physical investment. This cycle can lead to a constant state of concern about payments, debts, and the need to sustain a standard of living that is often more a response to social expectations than a true expression of our desires and values. On the other hand, by adopting a simpler lifestyle, we create space for a quieter existence focused on what truly matters. Simplicity allows us to slow down, reduce the stress and anxiety associated with managing wealth and financial commitments. This does not mean living without comfort, but finding a balance where comfort does not become a source of concern or a barrier to more authentic and rewarding experiences. Moreover, simplicity brings with it the possibility of a deeper and more meaningful relationship with the world around us. By freeing ourselves from the burden of possessions, we gain mobility and the freedom to invest our time and energy in relationships, personal experiences, and the cultivation of our interests and passions. Ultimately, simplicity offers us the opportunity to live according to our own values, rather than conforming to the pressures and expectations of society. This principle teaches us that by valuing simplicity, we are not just making a stylistic choice, but heading towards a fuller, balanced life that is genuinely rich in aspects that truly matter: human connections, personal experiences, and the satisfaction of living a life that is truly our own. Principle 14 invites us to profound reflection on the power of self-control and the importance of emotional resilience in our daily lives. This lesson, imbued with ancient wisdom, resonates with modern reality, where we are often confronted with words and actions that can disturb our emotional balance. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, teaches us that within us are various metaphorical keys that control our emotional reactions. Some of these keys open doors to serenity and happiness, while others lead us through paths of emotional turbulence. When we allow ourselves to be irritated or disturbed by the actions and words of others, we are essentially handing one of these critical keys to another person. In doing so, we allow them to have indirect control over our emotional state and consequently the quality of our existence. The true strength, as suggested by this principle, lies in the ability to build and maintain a wall of emotional resilience. This wall is not a barrier to connection or empathy, but a defense against negative and non-constructive influence from others. By developing this resilience, we gain the ability to filter what we absorb from the external world, consciously choosing what affects us and what we let pass. This philosophy does not suggest indifference to others, but rather control over one's emotional reaction. Recognizing that we cannot control the actions or words of other people, but only our response to them, opens the path to greater emotional freedom. This freedom is the key to maintaining peace of mind, focusing on what is essential for our personal growth and happiness. Practicing this approach leads us to emotional maturity, where we understand that, although we cannot prevent the waves of others' behavior from reaching us, we have the choice of how we will ride them. By adopting a posture of resilience and self-control, we preserve our inner serenity and stay focused on our personal path, cultivating an environment of well-being and contentment that is, after all, the foundation for a full and fulfilled life. Principle 15, emphasizing the supremacy of friendship over material wealth, highlights a profound and timeless concept. This teaching goes beyond the mere appreciation of human bonds. It delves into the depths of what it means to be truly rich, in an emotional and spiritual sense. In an increasingly materialistic world, where success is often measured by tangible possessions and visible achievements, this principle reminds us that true wealth lies in human connections. Loyal friends, those who stand with us in the highs and lows of life, are like beacons of light in times of darkness. They offer not only support and understanding, but also help us see situations from different perspectives, enriching our lives with diversity of thought and experience. Nurturing these friendships is an investment that brings immeasurable returns. Unlike material goods, which can lose value or disappear, the value of genuine and sincere friendship only grows with time. These relationships, built on foundations of trust, mutual respect, and affection, offer a kind of support that cannot be quantified. Furthermore, investing in friendships means cultivating a garden of experiences and memories that become part of who we are. In times of loneliness or sadness, it is these memories that often bring us comfort and joy. And in times of joy and celebration, it is these friends who multiply our happiness. This principle teaches us that, in the end, the measure of our wealth is not found in the balance of our bank accounts, but in the quality and depth of the relationships we maintain. A rich life is one filled with true friendships, where each friend is an invaluable treasure, a source of joy, wisdom, and strength. Therefore, as we strive to be good friends and maintain meaningful relationships, we are not only enriching our own lives, but also contributing to a more connected, compassionate, and humane world. Principle 16. Always seek to benefit from circumstances. Whatever happens, it is your choice whether to benefit from it or not. These were the words of Epictetus. It is thus evident that it is not merely an option, but an imperative to extract the positive from adversities. As long as there is discernment within you, there exists the ability to identify opportunities emerging from the difficulties you face. Imagine, for example, that one day you discover your dismissal from work. Instead of succumbing to despair and blaming fate, regard it as a chance to embark on that venture you dreamed of while engaged in unstimulating work. Therefore, strive to find the positive aspect in every situation. This attitude, accumulated throughout life, undoubtedly leads to a more rewarding destiny than simply surrendering to lamentation. This approach, taught by Epictetus, encourages us to transform challenges into steps for personal and professional growth. Instead of being overwhelmed by adversities, we are encouraged to use our creativity and resilience to find alternative paths and hidden opportunities. By adopting this mindset, we not only overcome obstacles but also evolve and strengthen ourselves, paving the way for a more promising and satisfying future. Principle 17. Accept what you cannot control. Inspired by Stoic teachings, this principle offers an enlightening perspective on how to deal with the uncertainties and challenges of life. This principle guides us to clearly differentiate between what is and what is not under our control, emphasizing the importance of focusing our energies and attention on areas we can influence. Stoic wisdom, as presented by Epictetus, teaches us that many aspects of life, such as others' perception, our fame, the outcome of our efforts, success, and even the availability of resources, are beyond our direct control. These elements, escaping our control, can be sources of great distress and frustration if we dedicate too much concern to them. The principle invites us to recognize and accept this reality, thus avoiding the waste of time and emotional energy on matters we cannot change. Instead, Epictetus advises focusing on enhancing what is within our reach to transform. This includes our actions, decisions, convictions, and how we react to life's events. By concentrating on these areas, not only do we maximize our effectiveness and impact, but we also gain a greater sense of peace and fulfillment, knowing that we are doing our best within the given circumstances. This principle is particularly valuable in times of adversity. In difficult situations, the natural tendency may be to resent or distress over the circumstances. However, Stoic philosophy encourages us to face these challenges with curiosity and tenacity, viewing them as opportunities for learning and personal growth. Instead of lamenting what we cannot control, we are encouraged to adapt our approach and attitude, finding ways to progress despite obstacles. In summary, Principle 17 teaches us the art of acceptance and transformation. By accepting what is beyond our control and transforming what is within our reach, we move through life with a greater sense of purpose and tranquility. This teaching not only helps us navigate the vicissitudes of everyday life, but also prepares us to face more challenging times with a balanced and constructive perspective. Reflecting on this principle, we realize that Stoic wisdom encourages us to focus on what is tangible and moldable by our actions, while teaching us to let go of what we cannot change. This perspective not only brings inner peace, but also directs us to invest energy where we can truly make a difference. By internalizing and applying this teaching, we become more resilient and focused, able to traverse challenging periods with a clear mind and a tranquil heart. Stoic philosophy, therefore, is not just a set of ideas, but a practical path to a more balanced and fulfilled life. And now, you've reached the end of this lesson. If you enjoyed our video, like it, subscribe, and comment so that YouTube knows that these types of videos are for people like you, and we can continue creating similar videos in the future.